Greetings, beautiful ones. I am Ms. BJ Martin, and this is Snails with No Shells. Leave that shell at the door. Be a slug for a little while. It's okay. All right, now let's get into it. I'd like to introduce my next guest, the beautiful, the amazing, the talented Tyfany Janee.
Hey.
Hey, I gotta get one of those sound effect machines so I can have a chat. The
I know.
roaring.
Like girls off like
yeah, or
all that little stuff, right?
Yes. All right, let's get into it. Tyfany Janee. So you were born in Washington D.C.
Yes, I was. I was born in D.C., raised in Maryland, which anybody that is familiar with this area, part of the southern part of Maryland is like literally right next to D.C. So I was raised across the D.C. line in Maryland.
Okay. Okay. And so what was it like growing up in DC? What was it like?
I mean, you're at the center of the access point of everything, go-go, lively go-go scene, which is the music that is kind of birthed out here in the DC area. Mm-hmm. So I grew up with that background there. I love music. I love to sing. So I grew up listening to a lot of music, grew up reading a lot of books, writing. And like I said, it's a city life, but a little bit of suburban because we live in Maryland. So I just grew up, like I said, just kind of having access to culture 24/7, art, music, museums, being able to go to the Smithsonian Museum, Aerospace Museum, and stuff like that, being like literally right outside my door. So it was pretty fun.
Okay. And so what did you want to be when you grew up?
I always wanted to be an entertainer when I grew up. I was just kind of and so at first I thought I was going to be a singer. At first I was singing probably as early as the age of 4. I remember my dad recorded me singing Whitney Houston, The Greatest Love of All. That was probably the first time I ever recorded a song. So, and my dad was a producer into music. He had worked with a couple of artists and he used to write music as well. So I always thought I was going to do that. But writing poetry started first for me. So like journaling and writing poetry. I was about 9 years old, and then from there it just kind of took off. That's where I just decided that's what I want to do in my life. I want to write.
Okay, so at 9, what were you journaling at 9? I'm interested in why am
I journaling that? Everything. I don't know, just random stuff. I grew up in grew up with a single parent household. So my mom, pretty much raised me. My dad was always in the picture, but we lived with him at one point in time. But I've always kind of just lived with my mom when they separated. So journaled about my feelings. I journaled about school, just dumb stuff like not maybe liking this teacher or not liking this class at one point in time. So I was very smart. Like they put me in a talented and gifted program when I was very young. So I used to always have more challenging classes, or I kind of always just I knew a lot of stuff. Just I soaked up everything that I learned. I had a lot of knowledge. So, I was that one in the class that was raising their hand most of the time to answer the question. And I didn't care, because if I knew the answer, I was like, I wasn't waiting around. Right. Like some kids, they shy away. Like, I don't want to be the only one to answer questions. But for me, I wasn't like that. I was quickly like raising my hand, like, ooh, I know the answer. So I think, like I said, for me, it was just kind of like the journal or my book just became like my friend at that time, especially with going through a lot of different things, feeling some emotions from my parents not being together, feeling some emotions from being the eldest child. I am the oldest. I have a sister, younger sibling. And so sometimes that can be tough. kind of being the oldest and
Yeah.
kind of being a little bit more responsible and accountable for different things. So,
Yeah,
that's what
especially
I
with
journal
single
about.
parent home, you gotta do some extra things. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You gotta
Mhm.
hold it down, and you're always trying to make sure that, you know, because your mom is working a lot,
Mhm.
or doing everything that she needs to do to take care of you. You try to make
Right.
it easier on her, lighter load. So, sometimes you just not gotta get your feelings out. And so I wrote about those things. I might have wrote about a little boy I liked or something like that. I don't know. Only I could find my journal from 9 years old. But
I
I
know,
took
right?
writing a little more serious. I took writing a little bit more serious at probably around 13. And
Okay.
that's when I started to realize, like, I love making stories. I
Mhm.
could come up with stories 24/7 at that point. And my imagination was just running wild.
Okay. That's cool. That's I like that. So you're pretty much doing what you always imagined that you'll be doing.
Yes, it took some time. I mean, my career, professional career, kind of went into some different lanes. I served in the military right after high school.
Oh, you
Um,
did.
went to, I did. I went to college for about for a semester, pretty much.
Mhm.
Morgan State University, go Bears! But I decided that I wanted to kind of not leave that financial mark on my mom and kind of put more pressure putting me through school. I
Mhm.
decided that I wanted to be more responsible for my education. So
Okay.
I joined the military, obviously, like everybody, tuition and having those benefits and being able to kind of take that next step
Yes.
towards getting getting that next level at that step up in your life, building a
Mm.
foundation. So that's what I wanted to do. And so I went in and I took up human resource. And
Okay.
that pretty much provided a foundation for kind of just dealing with human resource administrative work. And so even though I'm an author, I still have a 9 to 5, you guys, the author life, the self-published
Right.
author life,
Yes.
sometimes you still have to have a 9 to 5. Um, but that's where that kind of started with the human resources, started allowing me to get into like nonprofit membership coordination and some other things. And so it's just, like I said, but I always knew I wanted to write. And so when I had the opportunity to um, go into business for myself and start putting some stuff together for myself, I had um, started my business and decided to be a copywriter because I wanted to help businesses and entrepreneurs obviously get their business branding, their marketing and everything together, all that good copy and that writing to engage your audience. I wanted to get that together and use my creativity that I
Okay.
had from being an author into fiction and coming up with brands, coming up with stories, and kind of channel that into coming up with brand story. Your business brand story, making that first impression. So
Okay.
those were
Just right, just
very
right, ladies and gentlemen, she is a best-selling author.
good.
As well, it says author, but she's a best-selling author. That's
Yes, 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 yes. It didn't all fit. They wouldn't let me. StreamYard wouldn't let me put it all there. They told me I had 50 characters. I was like, this is gonna be long.
Yes. Okay, so what part of the military, what branch were you in?
I was in the army.
The army.
Probably
How long were
not
you in
what
there?
most people expect. Yeah. So I went in 2006 and I came out in 2014. I did active duty and reserve. So active duty was a little shorter period of time than then I went to the reserve.
Mm,
Um, I wound up having my first child
mm,
during that time after active duty, and I just decided that as a new mom and just decided I wanted to kind of take a lighter load and not be on active duty, always having to deploy or be deployed and kind of being away from my support system and my home base, which is down here in Maryland where my family is. So
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's interesting. So how was your experience in the military? I like to ask those questions about being in the military because I wanted to go.
It definitely takes a lot of thick skin. It takes a lot of thick skin to get through some of the things. I wish my experience could have been a little bit better. I say this to people that it really does truly depend on where you're going. Like your first duty station can make or break that situation. My first duty station was in upstate New York. So imagine coming from like here, DC area, going up to like Buffalo, New York, Watertown, New York, where it's really nothing, and you're about 30 minutes from Canada. So it's really far. Okay. It's a little different. And then, you know, you're on a military base where you don't know anybody. But like I said, I think also with where you go depends on what the culture is. And so, you know, their culture was like mountain, we like to run, we you know, in the cold, no matter what, versus like if you got your first duty station and you were down in like Fort Sam Houston, Texas, or like Miami or something like that, it might be a different atmosphere. And I can see just the differences in that experience. So I will say that my experience was just a different culture. I met some people that challenged me. I met some people that were not positive, kind of a little negative. And so that, you know, caused different situations for me. And so my takeaway from, like I said, from it at the time was due to what's like my surroundings, I don't feel like it's a positive environment. And then, like I said, having that option after I, you know, got pregnant with my son, having the option to go to the reserves, I chose to go to reserves. So, like I said, it just active duty can be there is a difference between active duty and reserve sometimes, because reserves, you do your you do your drill weekend once a month, you do 2 weekends out of the year, and that's all you have to deal with. Versus active duty, you're there every day, wake up, PT 6 a.m., go to work by 8. You know, I mean, you're doing it like a regular job, but you're just there 24/7 on the base. So,
okay. So, do you think? 'Cause I have heard people going to the military makes them very, really organized and disciplined. Do you think that you've used that discipline in your life today, everyday life today?
Oh, definitely. I think I always kind of had a lot of discipline because I come from a military family background, like heavy military. So most of like my dad served, my grandfather, he served, God rest his soul. He just passed away from us in this past July, but he was a 28-year command sergeant major, 28-year veteran, retired from the military, and sergeant major. So he is pretty much the person that I saw all of my life pretty much dedicate and serve his country, and was proud to be a veteran. Anytime you asked him, he wore the hats, he wore the shirts. I mean, he was a proud veteran all the time. So but yeah, so I come from like I said, uncles, all of my uncles, or even on my maternal and paternal side, many uncles in different services. So we have Marines, we have Air Force, and we have Navy. So
okay,
like I said, it has a heavy background. So I think that also, like I said, seeing that, and from the males, I was the only female to ever even attempt to go. So that really surprised my grandfather. Like, you want to go in the military? And of course, looking at me, he's like, you're the quiet one. You know, you're the one. Like, he thought I was going to literally probably come back home in tears and be like, I can't do this. But I stuck it out because, you know, he gave me some sound advice before I went. And I knew that because I made that decision, I'm like, I can't turn around and go back. I can't let my grandfather down. Like, he he did it, I can do it. So that kind of gave me that spirit. But when I came back out, I had some organization, definitely learned a lot of leadership skills, being working and having to report at a certain time and be on time. So that definitely helped that situation when it comes to life. I tell my boys, I have a 13-year-old, so I'm always preaching to him, like, you got to be on time. People respect you and give you a certain level of respect when you are on time, you're respectable, and if you live by your word, right?
Yes.
Because and your actions, because like I said, it takes both. You can't just say what you're going to do, you have to actually do it.
Right.
So
right. Okay, that's interesting. Wow, that's interesting. That's why I love talking to y'all, because I learn a lot of things that I hadn't didn't know anything about. So let's talk about your first publication.
My first publication, my baby.
Yes,
this one right
baby.
here.
Let's talk about her.
Yeah, so my first publication, The Invitation to Journey Through a Conscious Mind, is a collection of poems that I published in July of 2017.
Okay.
And so this book, it was my words to introduce me into the world. It was like my coming out, book of like, this is who Tyfany Janee is. And I hope you guys are ready for like the depth that is in here, that and what I wanted to portray, which was whether you're searching for self-identity, whether you're looking for self-awareness, whether you have questions about love, whether you've gone through some really bad relationships, some kind of funny ones, whether you've been cheated on, there's something in here for everybody in this book, because at one point in time we were all young and we were all growing through those growing pains. So
okay, well, do you mind reading just a small poem that you have?
Let's see.
Yay.
Lord.
The Invitation to Journey Through a Conscious Mind.
Yes, I gotta find one. Okay. So this one is really short. So this one is As I Lie Here. My mind has always struggled finding a safe place. My heart never stops searching. My soul never stops yearning for an escape. My eyes demand focus. My hands itch for purpose. My feet never stop contemplating their direction. My mouth only speaks the truth, while my ears strain for the lies, yet it is my nose that lets me know how foul life can be.
Small, but that's huge. I love it. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, you're welcome. So what inspired that? What inspired that book? Like, okay, y'all need to get to know Tyfany. Why should we get to know Tyfany? What inspired that?
So why should you get to know me is because so my publishing imprint is Honestly Enticing Reads. And I decided on that name, and I really stand behind that. I'm always saying her, the acronym HER, because I am her. And her is, anything I put my heart, my soul in, anything that I create, is I'm trying to make it honestly enticing, but I'm also portraying the love, heart, and beauty of Black culture while I'm doing it as well. So I know there's a lot of books that out here that, obviously entertain us. I want to be entertaining too, but you're not going to see me write, a book that's the steamy love story, borderline. That's just not me. I write romance, but it's not going to be that steamy, like, borderline erotica or something like that. I can't write that. But what you can see from me in anything that I write is that I'm trying to inspire someone, impact someone to move out of their current position or see a different perspective, even while I'm trying to create these characters or this storyline, that in somewhere on one of these characters you might find yourself, you might see yourself, you might have been that girl, you might have been dealing with that type of guy, you know what I mean? Or you could benefit from dealing with from that type of guy. Or so it's just a lot of different layers. And like I said, my upcoming book, Hell Began at 7, that is something that, you know, it's a topic that I feel like we don't talk about a lot. Or we do, but we don't do in a certain way. And so, you know, like I said, anything I put my mind to, I'm creating stories, is to impact someone, is to inspire a conversation, a dialogue, or a discussion about maybe some of those harder questions that we might need to focus on. And so that's why I said it's about the love and the beauty and the heart of Black culture, because I think sometimes we don't always get to see that. We're always portrayed in a certain light, and then it doesn't always go over in the way that it could in order to further those positive discussions.
Okay. Wonderful. So explain to me about the copyright part of
Yeah, so I am a copywriter. My business is Own Your Mark Copywriting, OYM Copywriting. It should be down there on the banner, the website there. So I have 2 different websites. One, you can actually find everything that about me as an author, the books, how to purchase them, where I'm going to be doing any book signings or events. And then we have my copywriting website, where if you would like to work with me, and you have a business, you're an entrepreneur, you're an author, or a wellness professional niche specifically, I tailor my writing to them, because these are 2 avenues or industries that, one, I am in, so I know what it takes, and I know what readers are looking for when we read those emails about someone, you know, trying to sell a book or to sell their story, right? So there's a certain formula as it comes to copywriting, and copywriting is not the same as writing a book. It is not creative writing. There's a different science to it. There's a psychology behind it. There's a reason why you use certain things. It's pretty much built upon keywords and phrases and stuff like that, that is going to be built on your website, built into your landing page or your emails. And those emails are, you know, I could say you're trying to get people to look at that headline and open that email and take action. When it comes to your website, you're trying to get that website ranked on Google so that it creates organic traffic coming from a search engine. And so, like I said, there are different things that you need to do or must do in order for that to happen.
That's interesting. That is interesting. That's good. That's some good information, because we do think we write a book, we throw it up on Amazon or whatever, and it's just going to do what it do. It's going to sell, right? You know, it's going to just, we're going to be, you know, and it doesn't turn out that way.
And trust me, I've been there. Back in 2017, if I knew what I knew when I did this book, right? As far as book marketing, if I really like knew all the things back then when I launched this, it probably would have took off a little bit better, right? So when you learn better, you do better. Yes. And so once I started learning different things and start seeing how different the writing had to be from what I creatively do in this book versus when I'm trying to get someone to buy it, then, you know, like I said, it's a totally different thing. And so I always knew I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to do journalism first and, you know, be an author of my own work. But copywriting kind of wasn't something that I didn't know that I would actually be good at until I started creating my own websites. Like every website that I have, I've built on my own. All the writing that you see on my personal websites is from me. I didn't hire someone else. I sat there and I said, you know what? I'm going to create myself a website. And I did it. And then
Wow.
emails. I just decided, you know what? Let me learn what it is to create this email. Or there's a formula even for blog writing of how your blog is supposed to be laid out.
My
And
goodness.
so different things. And so, like I said, a lot of this stuff I'm self-taught. And I just, like I said, did that through YouTube videos, any type of coaching, any type of courses I could get my hands on. Now I have a bachelor's degree in business administration and a minor in marketing. So when I went back to school for marketing, then that's where I was actually professionally taught. But like I said, I'm professionally taught how to market, how to sell, and do a little bit of the writing. So once I tapped into the two, what I naturally love to do and what I was taught to do, then it kind of like they married each other. And so that's the insight that you get from working for me, because you get not just a copywriter that's kind of trying to create stuffy words or boring words that nobody really cares about, but I'm actually reading your stuff as a user, as a consumer, and I'm being very honest in saying, like, I wouldn't buy that. Well, I wouldn't take action from that. So something's still not here. Something's missing.
Wow. That's great. I mean, you have a wealth of information. My goodness. Well, I know my next book. I need to know who I know who I'm calling, y'all.
I hope so. I'll take every book. Let go. Like I said, you guys' books are my babies. So as well, when you become a client, like I said, your book is my baby, and I'm trying to make sure that it has the best launch. And like I said, part of that significantly is the writing in your launch, the writing of your courses launch. You know, anything that you're trying to launch, there's emails, there's a landing page, there's a sales page, a media kit, press release, something that you have to write to make that announcement or to get someone to take action. And that's what a copywriter does. We're about the words.
Wow. Okay. Now, see, I heard about some type of giveaway. Are you still doing this giveaway?
So the giveaway, technically should have expired yesterday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I did extend it because I did not get the interaction I'm looking for from everybody. And so it would not be fair to just obviously take a couple of people. So I am extending it. So it is still on. And I'm going to repost that. And if you go to my page, Facebook and Instagram at literally Tyfany, I can actually go ahead and put it in the comments. Or Miss BJ can put it in here. But if you go there, then you'll see the post for the giveaway. And so what you do is like that post, follow that page, and tag 3 friends. And that's it. You don't have to make the friends buy anything. You don't have to pull their arm. I know, like, they don't have to purchase anything. Just me showing that you tagged them, because that's how I'm going to get known by other people, by you. So like I said, as self-published authors, indie authors, we rely on that one person to go tell all their friends, like, oh yeah, I read this book. It was good. You should try it.
Right.
Because there's not a whole publishing company behind us running our ads 24/7. It is us. So we appreciate reviews and word of mouth.
Okay, awesome. The information is on the on your banner too, going across. So okay, well, I'm trying to click some stuff here and see. Okay.
The Facebook page is there. See. Yep, there we go.
Okay. All right, so Tyfany, you are amazing. You are amazing. And I really enjoyed this time that we spent together. I got to learn some stuff that I didn't know. So I know the viewers learned some stuff too. So we appreciate that. I appreciate you for being a guest on my show.
Yes, I appreciate you having me. I like I said, I love people that are doing great things. Like I said, you having this podcast, you're going to be doing some phenomenal things. Like I said, if people don't know, Miss BJ is also my co-writer. we are both contributing writers in the Own It magazine. And so, like I said, we're both doing our things. And like I said, I love to come on and help another sister out, especially with everything that you're trying to do.
Yes, it's definitely a camaraderie, and it's definitely like a big family. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep. And I'm enjoying
and
it.
if you guys like poetry, don't forget. Well, this announcement, I'm going to give it exclusive on her page, because by the time this probably airs, we will probably be going live with our show. But open mic, I'm doing a virtual open mic starting February the 3rd, Thursday, February the 3rd. So if you are following me, or if you're interested, please go to my Facebook, Instagram page so you can see that announcement of the actual time. But I will be going live, sharing more from this book, as well as some other poetry that is to be published.
Awesome. That's going to be lit. So I said lit.
BJ's going to come on. She going to sing.
Yeah, I will. Look, I started to ask you. You said you sing. You gonna sing today? I ain't gonna make you sing today. But
no, I ain't gonna sing today. Y'all gotta come to the open mic for that. I do have a song I prepared for that. Okay. Live. Well, everybody in the world's gonna know author Tyfany Janee can sing when you come to the virtual open mic.
That's that right. Well, y'all better come on. Y'all better come on. She doing so much, and she singing too. Hey, total package. Before we go, was there anything like one piece of advice you'd like to give someone, to the audience?
My piece of advice is, don't think about it, just do it. And when it comes, and that comes to writing, I'm talking to the aspiring writers. Stop trying to come up with 1,000 word count days. And I talk about this in an article that I wrote for the Own It magazine. I gave 5 tips that I wanted to talk to authors about an author mindset. And one of those tips was, stop trying to get to 1,000 word count days. If you can only write 20 words that day, 20 words is something better than nothing. And so get those 20 words out. 20 becomes 40 one day, becomes 60 the next day. And when you just keep going and going and going, you'll make up for those days where you had less, because one day you might be so inspired that you end up having more. So like I said, just write, just do it.
Just right. All right, y'all harder. Just right. I love it. Well, thank you again, Tiffany, for being on my podcast. I appreciate you. I want to say thank you to the Own It magazine. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, and thank you for taking the time to watch Snails with No Shells. And before we go, what I would like to say, my last words would be, remember, just like the sun, you are necessary. I love y'all.
Yes. Bye.